Oh, so genuinely want to thank all of you for coming and taking some of your precious time as we gather during these extraordinary times. Where there are problems, there are opportunities for solutions. So I'd like to start by taking a moment for us to be grateful for what we do have, whether it be the inspiration from loved ones who might have passed, the birth of children, the Zoom gatherings of families for special occasions. We have a lot that we can be sharing and using to move forward. So you all today are choosing to do something constructive with this historic moment. And when you look back, we can all be proud that we provided constructive opportunities with our students. So in music, rather than the notes, the beauty comes from the pauses. And we're going to be pausing today a number of times in order to create some magnificent solutions. So let's begin. So with purpose, I'd like us to lift our arms as far as they can reach so that you can see them on the screen. Not up, out. We're going out. We're crossing the earth, which we've crossed with all of our friends from around the globe, and reach as far as you can until you grab the hand of the person in the screen adjacent to you. And in this way, we know we are united as one community today. So Kathy, with that, can you bring us some clouds to play with?
Yes, just give me a second.
And we'll put our hands down as we start to breathe and center ourselves. Okay, wait a second here. So
could you give me a thumbs up that you can see the screen? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so with this, wait one sec here. Okay, so, okay, nope. Okay, so now I'd like you to sit tall, root yourself, lift the back of your head, lift your neck, and we are going to exhale what we don't want in order to inhale calm. So we follow as I lead, and think to yourself, we are going to take a deep breath. We're going to exhale first and inhale, and then follow. I am breathing. Inhale, exhale, inhale, breathing, breathing, exhale, inhale deeply. I am relaxing. I am sitting, sitting, sitting. Exhale. Inhale. I am smiling, smiling, smiling. Exhale. And inhale. I am sitting. I am breathing. Exhale. Inhale. I am smiling. And take another big pause. And with that, take your hand and start tapping around the base of your thumb. Take your fingers and tap around the base of your thumb on one hand and then the other. And this is going to activate the myocardial fascia around your hearts, which stimulates our love for service. So just tap around the base of your thumbs. And now, tap around your head, your brain, and stimulate your mind for learning. And in this way, we have just ignited service learning with our body and our mind. Take another very slow exhale, a deep inhale for calm and happiness and joy for being together. And I'm tossing to Kathy Berger-Kay, our author and international service learning expert.
I caught it. First of all, it's just good to be with you. It was interesting. I was in a call earlier, actually with Donna, and someone said what they're grateful for is Zoom, which I hadn't really thought about that I'm grateful for, but in truth I am, because I get to see you. I've met some new people already today. I get to see people I haven't seen in a while. I was supposed to be with my friends in Myanmar about now, this time of year. So I'm now with you in a different way, and I'm grateful for that. So as we begin our day, I'd like us to just take another pause for a different reason, just to make sure we are clear on our community agreements. We always do this. So Marissa, I think you're going to join me in talking about these. I'm going to toss some to you. These are agreements. It's always good when you bring people together to have a few agreements that just create a sense of not just safety in words, but safety in purpose and how we move forward. So one is to be aware of our identities. We bring a lot of identities into the room. I bring identity of being a woman, a grandmother, an elder, a Jewish person in the middle of the high holidays. There's a lot going on for me right now, and everyone carries identities with them, and we can be aware of these. Marissa, would you talk about number 2?
So number 2 is step up and step back, and this one will play a role certainly in our breakout rooms. When is it time to take the mic, and when is the time to take a step back and listen? And so we're gonna go over a few of those details when we get to the breakout room session, but this is a great way to acknowledge that we can learn just as much from speaking as we can from listening.
And the acronym WAIT is what Chris taught me, our friend Chris, who's been in this space before. Why am I talking? Why aren't I talking? So this is a place for both. Number 3, well, Marissa, you do number 3.
What's said here stays here. What's learned here leaves here. So there are certain things that you want to just hold on to in this space, and there are certain things that you want to hold on to forever going forward. So that's just another way of framing that.
Number 4 is acknowledge intent as distinct from impact. And this is very critical in all times, but I'd say especially in these days. As it said, is if I walk up to Marissa to give her a hug, but I step on her foot, that wasn't my intent, but that was my impact. So we might do things here that have impact. And it's important to feel prepared for that and to be also able to talk about it and to be respectful about it and how we communicate. But impact is different from intent. And the last one, Marissa?
Go for it.
Okay.
I think when we get into the ideas and to our creative solutions section, I think one thing to think about is that perhaps, we throw all the ideas out on the table. Some of them will stick. So we might as well put all of them out there, and like a sieve, the ones that we really want to stay will stay, and we might as well just put everything on the table now.
And in that same vein, I thank you, Donna, for doing the breathing, because initially when we were doing breathing with youth, I thought they're not going to get into it, but they always do. We did it earlier with another call with youth, and they always appreciate it. So if we just go for it wholeheartedly, other people will as well. So I'd like to just take a moment. We lost an icon and an astounding woman this week. When I think of her as being tiny physically and gigantic of heart and mind. And what she did that really rocked so many of our worlds and opened up so many doors and changed so many laws and created so much that we can be grateful for. So I'd like us Donna and I were talking, and Marissa, and they asked me just to hold a moment for Ruth. And so what I'd like to invite you to do is, if you care to, this is not required, if there's something on your heart that you want to express about your connection with Ruth or what she gave you or inspired you to do, just go ahead and put that in the chat as we take just a short moment to think of what she gave and what we carry forward with her. So we'll just take a quick moment here to pause and to honor Ruth. And you're welcome just to sit quietly with this or to put something in the chat if you so choose. We're just going to take a short moment here. And the idea that's in there is keep fighting for justice. Never knew a world without you. My goodness, that's so true, Jenny. You know, people are writing about her strength, and I also think of her that there was no apologies. I never saw her apologizing for who she was. And for me, that was tremendous because I think a lot of women enter this space and almost apologize, and I never felt that with her. That, and as is written here, courage and boldness will carry us forward. So when I think about the legacy that I want to enact to carry her memory forward, I think of this. Vote. That I can vote. And this is real important. This is my necklace, actually, that I'm wearing here. That I'm wearing this, and I don't know, may wear it for a long time, to spread how important that is and to keep it by my heart and to carry this message forward. So I'd like to share with you for just a few minutes an event that our team and partners, including ECSL, is putting together. It's called Documentar Vote. Many of you have heard me talk about Documentar, which is a platform for youth to express what's going on for them in these days. And I'll have a link later on that those of you not familiar can follow. We also are a platform and engagement for action. So on October 1st, we're gathering youth aged 13 to 24 to come together to really engage in this issue. And I know, I'm hoping that many of you or all of you will help spread the word and also bring youth in to help us lead this and be spokespeople through this event. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what it is. First of all, these are our partners right now. If any of you have organizations and want to be on our partner list, we would welcome you. The event is 1 week from today. We still have work to do, but it's a really solid group of people working together to really amplify the voice of the role youth can play as voters or supporters of voting in this and future elections. And while we all know that the presidential election and the federal election is important, it's all the down ballot that also hits us right in our community that we need to be aware of. So Chris Neal is going to be our host. Some of you have met him before here. He's going to be our MC of the day, but we're going to have a lot of youth speaking and some experts in different topics. We're also inviting young people to share their expressions of why voting matters before, during. We're going to have a creative session during it where youth collaborate in real time, and after. So I'm going to play a short video that a youth created about why vote matters. And this just came into Documentar the other day for this purpose.
My voice matters because numerous people have laid their lives down for it. Because my voice can crush tyranny and quail titans. Because my ancestors fought tooth and nail to ensure I have a voice. Because my voice can lift people up and tear walls down. So, go vote.
Vivian is one of the youth who's going to be joining us in our event. And I'm very thrilled that she sent this in. And just so you know, even though some of us live here and some live abroad overseas, in all international schools, most of them, they're youth who are from America who can take part. And any youth should be caring about the importance of voting, because what we do in America affects other places and vice versa. So this event's open to youth all around the world. We're going to be hitting 4 key topics during this event: racial justice, all with youth and adult voices; equitable access; LGBTQ; environment. For each topic, we'll have informed youth and adults sharing content in conversational tone and talk about the intersection with the topic and voting and down ballot matters. So we are still looking for people to connect some of these topics. So I'm going to put my request out there. If you have youth or adults who this is their expertise, we would love to know so that we can include your youth that you work with in this experience. And it's all about what youth can do. So we're going to be very specific of ways young people can get involved. Youth Service America is one of the areas, one of the platforms that's lots of categories of how youth can be involved. So they're going to be helping curate this space, but others will also have a voice, and we'll be sending out all kinds of resources. I know some of you represent some great resources. We want to include you. So in real time, youth will be collaborating on messages, visuals, strategies, elevator pitch. We hope to give them 40 minutes to create in real time, but we've already gotten some submissions about what youth are creating for Document Our Vote. So I want to show you two examples. This is from Angeli. She's from Arizona, I believe, and she created this as a message about voting. I love the next one because it's so real. Look at that. A youth created that. It's just so cool. So
can you go back one? That was, I want to read that. Together we can.
From B9241.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Jenny. And so all of what's exciting is very often youth create things and we say, well, where's it going to go? What's going to happen with it? All of our partners are committed to taking what youth create and exploding with it and really using it in their mediums to get the word out. So this is not just an exercise in creativity. This is going to be put to use in all these organizations and more. We have more partners coming on all the time. And some are silent partners. They're not listed, like George Washington University and Lead Agency in Oklahoma. So we have partners. We will have resources, including the resource you tell me to include. I see most of the things I do as a portal for more. This is not the end all. This is a first or our second or 10th engagement, but it's going to lead more. We have a lot to do to get youth involved. So this is the flyer that we have, and you can access it either by emailing me. I'll send it to you. It's also linked in the document that Marissa created. You can register and submit and follow us. I hope that before this meeting's over, all of you are following us on Instagram especially, so that you can see what Documentar is and have access to this. But I really am hopeful. What we need right now are youth to know about this. I'm going to stop sharing. But what I'm really asking, my big ask today is, if you have some youth or adults you think can really help us with our categories, we would love to know. And can you help us share this out? Can I see thumbs up if you're willing to help share this out? Okay, this is my ask. I don't ask much. You know I don't ask very much. I really don't. But this is a big ask for me. I'm putting my heart, my blood, and my sweat in this because I really think youth can make a difference and we can help youth have that choice and that chance. So I want to thank you, Donna and Marissa, and all of you for the time for this. You can see I'm a little overly passionate about it. Sorry, that's just how I am. And not sorry at all. And I'm going to pass this back to, who's taking over now, Marissa or Donna?
Who's going to continue on with some more spotlight on voting?
I just want to share one more thing that I'm wearing that I just want to share. If anyone's interested in getting a Black Lives Matter necklace, let me know. This is the same one that Patrice, who's the founder of Black Lives Matter, is wearing. My niece designed this, and Patrice wears it all the time, including on the cover of Time magazine. And anybody who purchases this, money goes back to Black Lives Matter. So I'm voting and Black Lives Matter. I'm well dressed. There you go.
Okay, Fu, we pass it to Fu.
Good afternoon or night, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome. It's such a pleasure to be here and always a privilege and an honor to be able to hold space within this meeting. So thank you, Marissa and Donna, for inviting me to do so, and Kathy, as always, for your inspiration, and you are muse to all of us. I'm gonna share my screen real quick here. All right, I should be better at this by now, since I spend my entire day doing this. Okay, there it is. All right. Is everyone able to see the screen? Excellent, excellent. I'd like to begin, this is a practice that I've been beginning with and I encourage you all to think about, which is with a land acknowledgement. For those of us who find ourselves in the LA area, I'd like to begin by acknowledging our presence on Tovangar, the Los Angeles Basin, the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Gabrieleño, Tongva, Quiche peoples. No matter where you find yourself in the world, please learn about, honor, and pay respect to the indigenous peoples upon whose land you live and work. So I've been invited to speak about what we've been doing at Oakwood, and we are very focused on the election, and I'm going to be speaking about some of the activism our students are involved in with the vote. But part of what is amazing, and this is a great segue from Kathy's point, which is, we are privileged at Oakwood to be doing a ton of work in DEI. And our theme for this year is Embrace the Moment. We are in this crazy moment in the world, dual pandemics. And one of the things that we decided actually before the George Floyd flashpoint was that we were going to focus our DEI theme in our year on Black Lives Matter and investigate why this matters at Oakwood. And as it turns out, we're privileged to have Patrice Cullors come and speak as our first speaker next month to kick off this event. So pretty exciting. And again, I enjoy the privilege of being in an institution that is committed to the work that we're about to discuss. And as a part of that commitment, we are now holding classes on November 3rd. This was a decision that was made by our new head of school. This is his second year. And we find ourselves in this moment and this commitment to what we've been talking about and making sure that at the least, everyone has the opportunity to get out there and vote, but also to focus on this issue, knowing that we're leading up to this. So I've been charged with doing a lot of work leading up to the election and making sure that the opportunities exist throughout the institution and throughout the community to be directly engaged in the vote from a K through 12 viewpoint. So in order to do so, we need partners. And I'm going to talk about the different partnerships that I've been exploring and encouraging during this particular campaign, but also in my work in community engagement. I didn't mention that I'm the Director of Experiential Learning at Oakwood School here in North Hollywood. Sorry about that. So parent engagement, this has been a surprising and also really rewarding piece of this. I have partnership from our parent org looking at this date that we have off, and they're being very supportive in their messaging around getting out the vote. They are encouraging other parents to become election poll workers, and you'll see that we actually have students doing the same. We're going to be hosting collection drives on that day. And so that is just from the parent engagement committee, the community engagement committee of our parent organization. One area also that has come up this year that I'm really excited about is room parents and grade parents reaching out to me to work on community engagement initiatives as part of their work throughout the year. And I encourage all of you to try to explore that avenue for support in our programs. For example, we have our 11th grade that are going to be devoted to working with the local organization here, North Hollywood Home Alliance, who do a ton of work and advocacy for the battle against homelessness. A really small grassroots organization, and we're really excited to be able to partner with them. I've also had success in partnering with athletics and different coaches and getting the teams involved around causes, rallying around one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So more specifically onto the election, we've had students participating in the used to be called the poll workers program, but now it's the student election workers program. And again, because we have the day off, we have a whole army of students who are enrolled in this social studies elective that we offer every 2 years called the U.S. Campaigns and Elections. And this year we'll also be encouraging our faculty and parents, as I mentioned previously, to join and support the poll, since many of our typical poll workers, volunteers, are immunocompromised, COVID compromised, and won't be able to volunteer as usual. This program, we've been involved with it for several years. This is run out of LAUSD, but there are other resources out there nationally to engage students in the vote. We need youth poll workers more than ever, and it's a terrific way for them to engage very directly in the process of the election. We encourage, and one of the benefits of what's been going on is that as we sit here, I actually have more contact. I don't know if anybody else has this experience. I have more contact with my students than I had previously because I have them captive and they're actually checking their email and they're actually checking all the things that I'm posting, which actually doesn't happen as often during the regular school year. So there's been some terrific opportunities for engagement. And I'm going to highlight a couple of my students who have been doing some above and beyond work around the election. One of my juniors was a part of forming this organization called Elect Us. And it is completely run by students. And as you can see, their tag is to connect Gen Z with campaigns. They call themselves nonpartisan, but they're actually very bipartisan. And this is what I love about the work that they're doing. They're all about connecting with people from both sides of the aisle and actually volunteering across the aisle. My student, who is a self-described liberal, is going to be volunteering for Daniel Gay, the Republican senatorial campaign, is a candidate in Georgia, and he is a moderate Republican. They do target moderates, but they do very intentionally work across the aisle. So any students who want to connect and work directly in campaigns and kind of set the example for what bipartisanship really looks like, I invite you to reach out to our student, Eiley Greenberg, who's one of the co-founders of this organization, and their website, as you saw previously, weareelectus.org. You may have heard, those of you who are returning from last year may remember last fall, one of my students, Teva Corwin, and her initiative, LA Teen Get Out the Vote. At the time when she presented, I think they had about 100 students involved and about 10 schools or 20 schools. And now they are at over 300 students. It's a completely student-run student initiative, and over 300 students and over 40 LA high schools involved. They're active. They have started up through Instagram. They do tons of phone banking and text banking, connecting with different campaigns and supporting. This is a partisan group. They are very much about progressive ideals. Postcards, tons of text banking, and very recently they've been doing a bunch of virtual events to train more and more young people to get out there and support the vote. And this is their contact information. Again, this is our student, Teva Corwin, who's a senior at the moment. And what I would say in closing is, our kids are ready to go at this point. They're sitting, they are stuck in their homes. They see what's going on in the world around them as it feels like it's collapsing, but they're trapped within this space. And, it's our job to support and elevate their voices, provide platforms for them, let them put that soapbox underneath their feet so that they can climb up and present to the world. And they have global audiences, and their voices are louder than ever and heard more than ever. And we really want to make sure that they have the opportunity to do so. And I think one of the ways that we can do so together as a group and through ECSL is find these collaborations. I've been so privileged to be a part of some amazing, amazing interscholastic collaborations that we've started up this fall. And this ECSL has been the breeding ground for this. And so we're really excited for these opportunities. Since we are no longer going to our schools and in our neighborhoods, we've been looking at breaking down these barriers and looking at regionally, having our kids collaborate in the areas that they're in, because they can in that manner. And our barriers between our schools are now lifted in a way they've never been before. So this is, again, really about embracing the moment and finding an opportunity to, and giving them the tools that are necessary for them to continue to do the work. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Fu. Before we continue on, there was one question in the chat about how old a student needs to be for the Student Election Workers Program. Do you happen to know?
That is a good question. They need to be 18 by the time of the election.
Okay, all right,
They
great.
can be 17 now, but they need to be 18 by election day.
Well, I want to build on Fu's comments about ECSL's network, because one of the things that I love seeing unfold is that with ECSL, there's networks within networks within networks with offshoots of different conversations, and that's happening all the time. And we hope that it happens going forward from this meeting. And one of the people that Fu has been working with, for example, is our next speaker, who is Michael. And he is the founder and CEO of Treatum. He's been developing a web and app-based platform that helps educators coordinate and streamline and digitize their student community engagement program. And what's exciting about this platform is that it's not just simply to record hours. He's been consulting with educators and service coordinators and nonprofits and administrators and districts with the aim to improve the student experience and really be partners in developing meaningful experiences that motivate and are relevant to the next generation of activists and and students in service. And so we're going to leave in our shared document that I'll share with you in a minute, more information about what Treatum is, which is this web-based platform. But what we asked here to come and speak about today was just about what it's like to reimagine and develop creative solutions for this time that we're in right now around service and community engagement. And so since we're talking today about those creative solutions, we just wanted to hear from you, Michael, a little bit about what your process around that question is and about how can we reimagine student community engagement during this pandemic and beyond, and see how it's unfolded for you so that as we head into the breakout rooms, we have some concepts and ideas and inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you, Marissa, for the introduction. Fu, amazing presentation. Love your students. We work with you. They're amazing. They're one of the best. They're very motivated. And Donna and Marissa, thank you for allowing us the time and the space to come into this meeting and share with you. And Kathy, I've also familiarized myself with your work. It's an honor to be in your presence here. We're freshmen, we're just learning. And so to be with a veteran, it's really inspiring for us. We in no way are professionals on service learning. We're not educators. We haven't been around for more than 2 years, but we're geeks. We're engineers, we're designers, we're problem solvers. And all we're trying to do here is see how we can help promote service learning in a way that is more student-centered, in a way that solves issues and problems and little logistical and technical situations for the administrations of the schools, but primarily focusing on the students and their experience. And part of that, process has been working with, some representatives who are in this conversation right now. We're working with Milken and Oakwood and Campbell Hall. Also, I saw Mawa on the call somewhere. We're working as well with you. We've done an event with 3 people, and we've sat, with many of the administrators, the coordinators, to try to figure out what are the features that solve the issues, the logistical issues right now. And then through the last year, we've been trying to figure out, well, what does the future of service learning really look like? And that has been an informed conversation from the conversations that we've been having with the students and with the service learning coordinators. And to touch a little bit upon that and give you a little bit of context, I went to Milken. I graduated in 2013, very recently. This is Greg, he's our co-founder. We went to school together at George Washington. And since then, what we've been trying to do is, understand how we can be a bridge between the programs that we have in schools that try to nurture this student advocate, this change maker inside, with the student who is very passionate and very interest-based outside of school. How can we build a technology that with familiar features, with a navigation and user interface and experience that they know through TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and such, how can we try to work to kind of build a bridge between the two so that service learning is also extremely exciting in school, out of school, and wherever they choose to engage with their community. And when COVID hit, all of our opportunities were in person. All of our opportunities were in partnership with nonprofit organizations. It was more of a community service approach. It wasn't so much service learning at the time. And it actually was an issue because we work with a lot of schools in East LA, and many of those kids, even if they wanted to go to an opportunity, even if they wanted to engage with the community, they couldn't because they didn't really have the transportation. And it was a very frustrating and clunky process for them. And that experience, because of COVID and everything being shut down and not being able to have students go out into the community, coupled with this inequity and inaccess that existed for our low-income schools, we we had to figure out, well, how do we decentralize the concept of service learning or of community service? How do we put it more into the hands of the students and make it more project-based, make it more self-directed, more independent and specific to the interests and the passions of the students? And through that process, we started to reach out to our nonprofit partners, and we put up virtual opportunities, which that also was not necessarily going all the way. And now we're playing with a concept called missions. Missions, and we've been speaking to students about it, we've been speaking to some of our partners. The concept of missions is, a student generally knows what they care about. And if they don't know, we want to give them the tools to explore that. And through the process of understanding what their interests are, whether it be absorbing content or going through a survey flow, being able to create their mission, whether it be small or large, inviting their friends and collaborating among each other, we think is more of the direction that would allow us to, instead of coming down as a top-down approach, we stand side by side with our students, and we tell them that we support you and we want you to succeed. We want to support you to accomplish your goal. And missions could be anything like starting a humanitarian aid organization, which is common for students at Brentwood, Oakwood, Milken, etc. We've seen that. As well as, convince a local restaurant to stop using single-use plastics and all of the things that come through that process. And so at this point, we serve 45,000 students around the country. We're in 6 states. And I wanted to just briefly, I know we're running out of time, just show you what it looks like. Just 1 or 2 screens. So this is, I'm assuming everyone sees the screen. This is currently what it looks like. Students can see the virtual opportunities listed. They can communicate with their school through messaging, etc. Through notifications and such. They can be notified of the opportunities. There's a lot of tech in here. This is very exciting and we're happy about it, but we have plans for the future. This is what the admins are communicating with, and without going too deep into it, we can always do a demo later. This is where we want to go, and these are very basic designs right now. But as you can see, you have events in person, you have virtual opportunities. You're supposed to see projects there too. It's not listed right now, but we have it in other designs. And the idea is that a student can press the plus sign down here, create a mission. So get 10 friends to reduce energy usage by increasing their AC temperature by 5 degrees, for instance. And they can invite their friends, they can opt into this opportunity, they can share it, they can interact with it through these features. And the idea through this is that we can make it collaborative, that it can live on the student profile, that the student can then represent this when they're applying to college. And it could be a much more personalized approach to service learning. And all of this that I'm showing, I'll show another screen here. All of this that I'm showing, we're not here to say that this is the absolute direction that it needs to go. That's not what we're saying. It's more of a recommendation and very humble nudge as to what we think would be more engaging for our students, especially right now because they can't be going to service opportunities. And so with that, I think I've said what I needed to say. I just again want to say thank you, and we're willing to explore this with you in partnership. This is not, we're not doing this to make money. This is a family philanthropic endeavor from my family, and it really is because we want to elevate and unlock the students that exist in our schools and have them be change makers in the community. And thank you for everyone's time. And again, Marissa and Donna, thank you for this as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing your story. I think it's just really important right now that everybody has a chance to kind of talk a little bit about, okay, this is where we started from and this is where we're headed, because we all have had a lot of diversions and places to go during this time, and just to hear your process and how your working model of what service learning looks like in your eyes is just helpful, so we can kind of compare that to our own processes and what makes sense for us. So that's going to be the next level of what we're going to do here now, which is to give you some concentrated time to talk about what makes sense for you in your own process of developing creative solutions for service learning and community engagement right now. And so we're going to move into part 2, where we've set up conversations as an exchange versus continuing on with a webinar series, for example, because we want to acknowledge that we can be each other's best resources. So the format for our breakout rooms is going to allow participants to share where they're at, and then to access your colleagues for creative solutions. So you've been pre-assigned to specific breakout rooms based on your interests. And when you go into those breakout rooms and you're sharing your experiences, you might want to focus on sharing where you're at in the context of that topic. So we have a room where some rooms where we're discussing building community, where we're building community and well-being. We have some rooms that are just focusing on what can be done now for virtual or in-person opportunities in either the upper grades, 6 through 12, or the lower grades, K through 5. When you enter the room, you can scroll down on our shared doc, which I'll post here in a minute for you to access, and find your group space for note-taking. You can select a scribe. You can have someone help to moderate the time. Everyone will receive 5 minutes in a nutshell, and you'll share for 5 minutes where you're at in your process right now. And then you can solicit feedback from your partners. After everybody's had a chance to share, you can continue into crosstalk dialogue to just do a deeper dive of what creative solutions might make sense and where you're going to go to be able to move forward next after we leave our conversation. Towards the end of our session, I will prompt you on the screen that we'll be heading back in, and I'll give you a little something to think about, a little prompt to think about. As we head back in, we're actually going to take a few moments, a few quiet moments, to just reflect on where we are. We'll have you add that into the chat, and we'll all submit simultaneously at the same time as an opportunity to get inspired for where we're all planning to go from here after our discussion. So without further ado, I'm going to set up the breakout rooms, or admit you to your breakout rooms. I'll be staying in the main session. If anybody has anything that they need to be switched, they were placed incorrectly, I'm happy to help. And we will see you on the opposite side.
I just want to add, as we move out, we're really grateful to our nonprofit partners who are attending today and will be scattered in some of the breakout rooms. We have Loida at Tree People, and we have Marcia from League of Women Voters, and of course the Treatum people. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but there are a number of them, and they're available to interact with on how you can connect with local community organizations to enrich your service learning practice, whether virtual or in person. So with that, I think it's breakout room time.
Okay, great. And I wanted to put up let me put up the shared doc for everybody now so that you have it. And you can access that now, and we will see you on the other side of the breakout sessions. Hi.
Hi there.
Hi, I still have you in here because for some reason your name is coming up differently than I had on the
It's wrong.
So which room were you planning to go in?
That's the high school, middle school, high school, 6 through 12.
Okay, perfect, great. I'm gonna add you now. Let me just get that set up here. Let's see. 1 second. Nice to see you, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 minute. Hi.
Hi, sorry.
I'll assign you in just 1 second.
Awesome.
We get a few people going here. And Greg, I'll put you, you're gonna go into 2B for me.
Okay.
And then, hi, Lisa. Where can I select you to go?
Well, I ended up in high school.
Okay.
But I was hoping for the one about like, what are you doing now?
Okay.
Is there an elementary one of that?
There is an elementary one. Let me see where I can put you. One moment, please. I'm gonna move you to. Okay, so you wanted to do like where, like kind of like opportunities now, but you wanted it in K through 5.
If you've got it,
Yep.
that would be fantastic.
I do. Let me get you.
Thank you.
Move you over. All right. That's you. Did you see it pop up?
Nothing yet.
Oh, okay. Hold on one second. It says that you haven't joined. So do you by any chance see anything that allows you to join on there?
To join,
Move
to join the breakout room?
Yeah. It says that you're there but haven't joined. I'm going to try to move you to one spot and then move you back out. Hold on, let me try that.
Okay.
1 second.
Yeah, nothing's on my screen at this point.
Interesting. Let's move to. How about now? No.
It's just,
Change.
let me try to change my,
Okay.
no,
Hmm.
nothing.
Okay.
Oh, wait, should I just press join breakout room?
Yeah, join breakout room because I think you're going to be going in now
Oh,
with the right one. Okay, try that.
Calling it preparation?
Preparation 3A, does it say? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just as, I mean, this principal is so supportive. How are you? You knew I had a Ladova thing today.
Oh, yeah, no, you said you might be popping in and out. It's just beautiful to see you and Lashana Tova.
Oh, Shana Tova.
Oh, God, what a world. What a world.
How's your grandchild?
Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable. Today was first day for food. Banana and rice, first day.
That's really exciting.
Progress. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, sorry.
Gonna type our quiet moment of reflection into the chat box for you. Take a moment to think and breathe as you process those ideas. And then when prompted, we'll all submit a thought on that into the chat box at the same time. So these are take a quiet moment to consider what breakthrough moment did you have in your breakout room or at any point today, and what is motivating you to move forward. Spend a moment to type that in the chat, and when I say submit, we will see what comes up. All right, when you're ready, you may submit. Kathy, you're always so great at pulling out some thoughts.
Well, I'm looking. Yeah, I am looking. See, facing the same issues, using strength and community as a method for service learning, that has validity. That there are similar struggles, frustrations, and we can feel isolated too. I think that makes coming together here very helpful. Student clubs, and that creating a mission for the club. And I think that's really important, not just having a club, but having a mission and returning to it, making sure there's alignment, perseverance, and giving people, this is, I think, very critical. Emily's adding, giving students a space to discuss current issues and areas of passion they want to contribute to. I just want to give a plug for with the MISO method, which many of you know. Once youth find an issue they want to like dive into, that's the time to pull out the MISO method of media, interview, survey, and observation. Get them to get their questions, put them in the categories, and they're raring to go. Sometimes they don't know how to follow up. So I think that's really valuable. I've seen that all the time. And Lisa's always inspired by her students. I know you are, Lisa, because you're always a student-focused person. And I think that you're not alone in the questions that we're asking. We all have, and Todd mentions, how do we elevate student voices? So I think that's real important. Always good thinking.
Thank you. It won't be the last of our thought meetings. We will be continuing on, but I'll let Donna share a little bit about that as we close out the day.
Okay, so yeah, we hope that you've been able to explore, and of course we're basically here 24/7 for any of you, especially now half of you across the world. And send any questions, any needs, we're happy to keep you connected and keep the ball rolling. And so much to do, and it's become more and more pressing every day. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you all for participating, and we're always here to guide you. There's a few things I want to wrap up with. One of which is, I'm going to share this doll with us here. So our dear friend, Ann Nelson, who was one of the co-founders of ECSL, created handmade dolls in an African mode where there's no eyes because you don't want to be able to look into their soul. And every year we give a spirit award to someone who keeps ECSL thriving. ECSL is basically fully a nonprofit supported by school memberships, and the school is a member and can send as many representatives as possible. We exist on the energy and the ideas of those who fuel what their needs are that we then channel out to the community. And all of us who were here today have been with ECSL for a long time. And there's always someone who steps up and just provides exactly what we need. And this year it was compassion. And it was compassion and insight and ideas. And we wouldn't be here today without this person's contributions. So this doll's name, if you guys can see it closely, is Haruma, which means compassion. And we really like to honor from the bottom of our hearts and thank Johnny Rogers from Campbell Hall. So we're so glad you could make it today. And we wouldn't be here without you. So everybody, let's give them a click.
Oh my goodness.
Really? Okay. And Haruma will be on his way to you. And in addition, we honor the people who honor us by making a donation. And this year, in your name, we'll be donating to the Center for Racial Justice and Education, which, you know, is Chris Neal's organization. And wow. he's coming to you. I need your new address since you moved. And with that, I'll turn the screen over to Johnny, who usually leads us in breathing and centering, and catch your breath. We'll catch our breath with yours and share our appreciation for all that you've brought.
Thank you so much, Donna, and everybody else. It's a big surprise, and I really appreciate that. So find yourself in your seat if you can. Try to center yourself and your weight right over the base of your spine. Close your eyes if you can. And take a deep breath in through your nose. And try to send the breath down to the bottom of your torso and into your belly. And very gently let it out through your mouth. Again, in through your nose. And as you breathe in and fill your torso, feel your body in your chair or in your seat, and how nicely the earth and the chair are holding you. You're very safe here. Exhale. On your next inhale, try to bring this feeling of lightness into your head, that the base of you is very strong, and that allows the upper part of you to be very light, almost floating, as though there's somebody pulling a golden thread from the top of your skull and just helping to hold your head up. Nice deep breath in through the nose, and again out through the mouth. On the next inhale, imagine that there is light coming up into the base of your spine, coming in with the breath from all around you, from the plants, from the earth, from the air itself, into your spine. And as the inhale fills your body, it travels up your spine, all the way to the top and into your head. And as you exhale and let the breath go, the light bursts out of the top of your head and comes down all around you like a fountain. In your next inhale, you're going to gather light once again into the base of your spine. Allow it to travel up your body as the inhale slowly fills you. And as you exhale, let it burst out the top of your head, gently cascading around you like a fountain of light. And let's continue with that breath for 5 more rounds. Inhaling into the base of the body, gently letting that light and that breath travel up your spine, up the back.
I'll put you over with you guys.
And then bursting up the top of your head as you exhale. You can go and just fall into this cycle of receiving the breath through the base of your spine, filling up, and releasing it through the top of your head and letting go. Filling up and letting go. One more deep breath in. Really gather all of that light energy from around you. Allow it to spiral up your spine. Filling the belly, filling the chest, holding at the top for our one final breath. And let it go. Get everything out. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Find yourself centered in your seat again. And I want to offer my gratitude for everybody for participating in that, for participating in these conversations, and for bringing yourself fully to these meetings and to the work that you do. You all are inspiring, and I am very grateful to be among you.
Thank you, Johnny. So with that, unbelievable. We basically almost ended on time with all of the journeys that we've been on and all the paths today. So we will be staying on. I know people have to run, but we will be staying on for another 10 minutes or so to continue dialogue. We're planning another call in a month. So we want to try and do this monthly if that's possible. And again, just keeping space open for dialoguing, exchanging ideas with each other, growing service learning opportunities, sanity, repairing our world the best we possibly can, keeping ourselves whole, our students motivated, and life moving forward in the direction it needs to move forward. So let's look upward, let's look onward. Namaste to all of each and every one of you. And may everybody be well until we see you all, hopefully, or most of you next month. So thank you one and all. Thank you all the participants too.
All right.
Whew. Hope you guys all had a good time. It's so exciting. There's so many ideas to explore.
Anybody who's staying, I'll unmute if anybody would like to stay on.
Any thoughts, questions, comments, advice for next time? Things can be improved.
We'll get everybody unmuted here who is staying.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks very much. It's always good to reconnect with caring educators out there trying to do service learning. It's not easy in these times, so I really appreciate having this space with you guys.
We appreciate you getting up this morning at 5 o'clock. That's crazy. And I see the sun shining now. It was dark when we started, but the sun's out now, so that's
Yeah.
good. Stay safe where you are and your team is.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, so this is running like regularly, kind of once a month, or is that what?
That's what we're going to be trying to do now. We figured pretty much the end of the year and into January. No one knows what's coming next, but just being present with each other, we find we keep learning new things and getting new ideas, and we're supporting each other emotionally. So we're going to try and keep this going. And if you have thoughts of what you need or what you'd like us to focus on, we're open to all ideas, and we try and present as many opportunities as people need. So making connections. So send an email.
Great.
We're happy to accommodate any
Yeah.
area of interest. So
Thanks very much.
One of the things I've worked on for decades, I really mean decades, is the idea of like cross-school connections and collaborations. So I think it'd be really wonderful if we know what you're working on, Todd and Mike and the other folks from Mueller, what some of the priorities are you're working on with service learning, and seeing what schools and this association would want to partner so that kids have a chance to connect with other communities. I mean, that's been one of my big motivations with all the work in international schools, is how to get your school connected with this school. I remember years ago, before we even had the internet, I connected a school that was a Native American school in Oklahoma by fax, if you can imagine, and mail. Remember mail? Remember it used to work?
That doesn't work anymore, Kathy.
Oh, I know. Anyway, I had a school, a fourth grade class in Oklahoma, because I saw, and I won't mention the name, an independent school in LA was doing stereotypical things about Native Americans in their fourth grade class. So I partnered them with a fourth grade class in Oklahoma, and that was Native American kids, and it just broke everything apart. And what they learned and did together in terms of service learning was mind-boggling. So I would love to see if we become more and more international. And right now, your international contingent here is seeing what we can do and how we can make that happen. So
really appreciate that, Kathy. Yeah, it's something I would like to see happen as well. And I know I've been talking with some teachers about there's interest at our school in trying to connect with other schools, especially in this time when we're feeling isolated. So I think the more, and it's so much easier these days with the Zoom and virtual this and that. So connecting kids has never been easier than it is now in terms of across, borders.
When we've done international documentar experiences, I had a kid on from Ghana and Azerbaijan and New York City, and they were flipping out. Like they were literally flipping out that they were in the same time and space and talking together. I think this is the time to do that if not done before.